Happy birthday.
And I want to give a special shout out to my lovely new niece and everything, Olivia Harris, on her birthday. And I'm sending her all the love that she can handle. And I'm sending the other two all the love that they want or can handle too. All right.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Yeah, I don't know.
How old is your niece?
I don't know, 16.
Oh, okay, because you said new niece, so I thought maybe it would have been like newborn or something.
No, she's a friend of mine's daughter and stuff. That's kind of neat because we all look alike. They're from Tonga,
Uh huh.
and we kind of resemble each other and stuff like that. And they're really great, nice people and everything, and I love them dearly. So I make them a niece because it's like you can't call me Mr. Glover. It's like, what's up with that?
Right.
Call him Joe or Uncle and stuff. But in today's world, a lot of people, some people that I know, they their kids. Well, nope, he's older. You can't call him that. You have to call him this. So,
Right.
Uncle's good.
Okay. Keith, how you doing?
He died.
Blessed. I'm blessed, man. Blessed, blessed with the day, rejoicing in it,
Uh huh.
favored, highly favored.
Blessed and highly favored.
Yes, sir.
You know what? I am doing wonderful because I know they're gonna get these bad behind kids off the streets
Ooh, what the-
on their bicycles that are running rampant, swerving. Do you know what the swerve game is, Keith?
No, what's the swerve game?
The swerve game now that the kids are doing, and it's actually going on countrywide.
Is it really called the swerve game?
Yep, it's called the swerve game. What you do is you go onto oncoming traffic with your bicycle, and you get as close as you can to that vehicle before you swerve out of the way. That is the game that these kids are playing on their bicycles now.
Yeah.
Especially on like Chandler Street and Pleasant Street, the drive, the riding around on their bicycles is getting out of hand, and police have already started confiscating their bicycles and taking their things away from them.
Sad to hear that. That's bad. That's I don't know. It's just these kids. It's getting worse and worse. This is not even. I don't get it. I get the games. I get because when I was a kid, we had games too. But I don't know. I remember playing football, and when the program came out, we would all lie in the middle of the road. At the double solid lines. As traffic was going by, which was dangerous too. So I just, I guess it goes on every generation. The kids want to get to doing more and more dangerous stuff,
Yeah, I'm not against the kids myself. I think the kids need a place to play, and if it's the place to play is in the middle of traffic, it's like not the greatest place to play. But they're kids. They need to use a little bit more brains on doing things. But taking away their bicycles, arresting them, doing things like
what's
that
your name?
is just wrong.
Paul,
Kids
okay.
have all the rights to be playing.
All right, thanks for the call, Paul.
Literally.
All right.
But, you want to do the caller?
Paul called, and Paul just wanted to say good morning and good afternoon to us.
Morning,
Shout out to
Paul.
Paul, our favorite listener.
Yeah,
What up, Paul?
baby. Yeah. But again, the kids they're kids. They're going to do stuff like that. They're adrenaline driven. They're hormone driven. They're fearless for the most part.
Yep.
Or at least that's how it used to be. When I was a kid, we did all kinds of crazy things like this. This is part of growing up.
Okay.
I guess the way that people grow up now has changed. They're a little bit. I see kids now way more sedate than than I saw as a kid. They couldn't hang with me. They're not tough enough. They don't do enough things that's really going to have a lot of fun. They're more sedate, and they're more in playing on their little telephones and doing things like this. But they're riding their bikes. They got bikes. There's no place for them to ride their bikes.
Okay.
Except on the street. They'll complain if you ride them on the sidewalk, which I think is much more difficult than riding it on the street. So they're riding on the street. They should use a little bit of common sense, but they're kids. They're going to do that.
Okay.
And for a while, I think that the adults are just going to have to suck it up and be more cautious when you're driving. You're supposed to be driving and everything. It's not your bedroom that you're driving in or your parlor. You're driving in a car. And in that car, you're the one responsible for the accidents. Kids, basically stupid. They don't know anything about it. They haven't got their first injury yet. When they get their injury, they become a little bit more cautious.
Okay, my question is though, how many kids have to get hit by a car before something gets done?
Maybe 8.
But what do you mean? I don't get what you mean something gets done. What do you want done?
Well, right now, what they're doing, the city of Worcester is doing, is the police are now confiscating bicycles and charging kids with disturbing the peace and disorderly conduct when they're riding around in their bicycles and causing things to happen.
It's just sad. It's very sad because those are the solutions to kids being kids. And it's just sad, It's really sad, and I think it's become such a big problem because most of these kids are minority kids.
Yep.
Yeah, inner city kids.
If it was
yeah.
white, if it was a bunch of white kids riding around, or if it was, let's say, grown-ups on 10 speeds, riding up and down Main Street, I don't know if it'd be a problem. And it's like, why is policing the solution to kids trying to do something with their time and have fun? And policing meaning what I said last week, what are you gonna arrest your way out of this problem? They're juveniles, they're kids. I don't get how that's the solution. Take your bike away and what? Give you a juvenile record or bring you to court or have your parents get involved? It's just like, I don't get it, I don't understand. I'm wondering why that the city even has a budget for youth. Why do they do that? Who actually gets paid? And that's the crazy thing. And that's the one thing I learned with my man Turtle Boy, is at the end of the day, why don't people start filing Freedom of Information Acts on the city and find out where this money's going? Because all I'm saying is, what's up with the Boys and Girls Club does a great job after school program, but there isn't much after school programs for these kids. They don't have no bike park, they don't have no skate park.
There it is.
We do have a dog park. We're not providing solutions for these kids, but what we're saying is, we're going to take their bike away and we're going to have them go to juvenile. Like, no, it's crazy, It's crazy. I just finished talking to somebody about that yesterday, is at the end of the day, these people who are making up these rules do not live in Worcester. The people who are calling for these, solutions of take their bikes, well, who even complaining? They're driving through Worcester and seeing something that happens every day. And all of a sudden, it's World War I. Yeah, it's all.
That's what once it becomes an inconvenience on somebody else, or it becomes anything, somebody complains. The kids have no voice, and without a voice, your complaint doesn't go anywhere. So there's nobody advocating for the kids to have the right to ride their bicycles in the street. It's like they're kids. It's been going on since dirt. Everybody, since we've been bicycles, people ride bicycles. Kids ride bicycles. They can't drive cars. They ride bicycles. And putting in a bike park, I said on the other show, parks are ownership territories. They're territories that kids adopt. They might like this park, and it's because it's convenient to them, they adopt this. That becomes their park. They won't go to the other parks. So if you put a bike park in something that's not their park, they're not going to use it. And that was proven by the skateboard type of thing. They built fancy little skateboard things, but they weren't inside their park. So the skateboard things weren't being used.
It's irrelevant because it was in the wrong place.
Yeah, they'll go. But they do need some education. They need to be told these are the rules and the regulations and stuff like that, and then they understand that this is what you do because of the traffic situation and this, that, or whatever the other thing might be and everything. But you have to tell them first. You can't assume that, all right, you can't do that because you get arrested and stuff, and then the word will filter down to them. Because like I said, they don't have a voice to put in their complaint to say, where am I going to ride my brand new shiny bike that I got for my birthday?
Right.
You know, it's like what? Why give me a brand new shiny bike if I can't use it? You can't ride it on a cloud.
And
You
that's-
gotta ride it on the street.
And that takes me back to my childhood. I used to love riding bikes. I used to love it. The Mongoose, the BMXs, like it used to be bike trails. It used to be bike trails where you could do tricks. There used to be bike trails where you could just ride and see nature. It used to be, well, it still is in Jersey. I don't know about out here, but I know they have bike trails. They had trails where you can, like I said, you can go out there and just ride your bike to your heart's desire in a circle around the track or up in some of the mountainous regions, like have
Yeah,
things
they-
for these
they-
kids to do with the bikes.
Some places they tried that, but then they didn't have races for it. You got a bike, and you go into a place that you go around, and maybe if it's even if a half a mile circle, before you know it, you're training. You're trying to go faster and faster and faster. Now you want to compete with all this training that, then they don't have any bike races for the kids.
Yeah.
They don't have anything for the kids with that, and just by spanking, and it is an assault on the poor people in Worcester. Because it does not affect the rich kids who live up on the hill. They
No,
can
it
ride their bikes in the middle of the street if they want to, because they don't have the traffic problem.
Yeah.
They
the
can put
police saying-
flags in there and jump over there, because they don't have the problem up there of traffic flow. And the police come around every once in a great while, because they got a neighborhood up there with open door policy, and people are watching their kids ride and everything, and they're all interactive. That's not city living. So these kids in the city, they're more clannish and more tribal than they are with the kids up in on the affluent side. They're still more independent, and they got special 1-2 friends and stuff like that. The city got a group of friends because it's clannish and it's tribal, because it's an inner city living.
Well, it has some cities have their advantages and disadvantages.
Exactly.
So one of the disadvantages is that they can't be riding in the streets.
But you can't
What
punish
do you
the
mean they
kids for
can't be
riding in the streets.
Where they gonna ride it at, Will?
You can punish them, and you can't.
Did you have to ride a bike as a youth?
Yeah, yes, I did.
Where was you riding your bike at, Will?
In the streets.
So what is this some ish right now? No, man, truth it. What's the truth about that? If someone used to ride their bike in the
Truth
streets
is-
are saying don't ride your bike in the streets. That don't make sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. You know why? Because when I was riding my bikes,
You was different?
I was different. When I was riding my bike, I wanted to get from A to B, or I wanted to ride down a hill fast, or something like that. I was not riding in the oncoming traffic purposely trying to cause cars to stop. I wasn't trying to do bike tricks, holding up traffic, causing traffic jams, and I was not becoming a nuisance to society.
All right, first
That's
of all,
one thing I wasn't doing.
Could you have done tricks on your bike? Were you doing tricks on your bike?
Yes, I was.
So where were you doing this?
In my dad's driveway. I did it in a safe place. I didn't do tricks and not in the middle of the street.
But you know,
Not on. I definitely did. I lived in Worcester my whole life. I didn't do it on Pleasant Street
Yeah,
or
listen,
Chandler Street.
The first time I learned how to wheelie, I was wheeling everywhere. I was wheeling literally everywhere I went. So you're telling me you learned how to pop a wheelie and you were just going up and down the driveway?
Yeah, when I was doing stuff like wheelies or trying to stand on the handlebars or trying to stand on the whatchamacallit bar or trying to stand on the seat, yet the crossbar. When I was trying to do all that stuff, I definitely wasn't trying to do it in the middle of traffic.
You
But
know,
these
and-
kids are doing it in the middle of traffic.
and that's dangerous and crazy. But if you're driving the car and you see some fool jump up on the crossbar,
Why? What you gonna do?
Slow down.
Stop your car. What are you
You're like, okay, I'm
watch.
gonna watch this kid break his neck.
If
For
Worcester
real.
come on.
down.
If Worcester drivers aren't slowing down fast enough for people walking in
Yo,
the
and
streets,
that's the
how are
one
they going to
thing.
slow down fast enough for kids riding their bikes in
I
the
think
streets?
that's a totally different dynamic when you got the pedestrians, because you can't see half of these little short
Yo,
individuals.
not even. Just now, me and Troop was riding up Main Street, and there was a dude standing in the street in the crosswalk, chilling, not going nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, Troop, let's pull
I
over
stopped.
and help him cross the street. Troop was like, what if you don't want to cross the street?
I don't know what he
You
wants to
understand?
do.
But the whole thing is, that's another solution I'd like to invite. Let's start holding these people behind these four-wheel monsters these cars to a higher calling. You know what I mean? You have a driver's license, you have a car that's insured. Think about it. Why would you want to hit a kid? You know, let's start thinking about, all right, yeah, I don't, because they do it all the time. They do it on Shrewsbury Street, they do it out here, they do it on Harvard Street, where the pedestrians will walk, and it'll be a police officer walking across the street, and if you don't stop, they pull you over. You understand? Let's start making people who have a driver's license really be alert and be coherent to what's going on. Instead of just thinking that I got to get to point A, well, I'm coming from A and I'm going to B, and I'm trying to get there as fast as I can, and nope, I'm not letting you pass in front of me. Nope, I'm not letting nobody cross the street in front of me. I'm taking red lights and all. You understand what I'm saying? You have more.
I understand exactly what you're saying, but I'm not letting the pedestrian off the hook. I'm sorry. If you're 4'11" and you're coming up from behind
And I can't see,
I
yeah.
can't see. You know, I'm sorry. You're invisible.
You think a kid sitting on a bicycle is that much bigger?
Yeah, the bicycle's
You can
4'11".
see the bike, man. What do you?
Yeah.
So what do you say? You can't see these kids?
It's not when they are coming into the middle of the street at a high rate of speed.
Stop the car.
But here's another thing too with the pedestrians and stuff. You got to study the book to get your license. The license says that people cross at the crosswalk. They say the colors are red and orange. I think it is.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That means that somebody's crossing the street. If you're crossing the street 50 yards away from the crosswalk just because you want to cross the street, and everybody has to stop because you want to cross the street, that's wrong. I think there should be something, the pedestrians have to be accountable for the rules and the regulations too. But then it all comes as one. Crosswalks, pedestrians. Middle of the street, no pedestrians.
There was a case.
Now it's like, if you get in the car, before you even back out of your driveway, you might hit somebody. And it's really, really bad in the neighborhoods that have a high homeless population. Some of them people are not just homeless. Some of them people have a lot of difficulties when it comes with rational thought. So they don't know that they're not crossing as they should. They're just doing whatever they feel like.
Yeah.
And that, that becomes a nuisance. And not just a nuisance, that becomes a hazard, because you have to put that check mark on that book about the crosswalk on the test, or you don't get a license.
Yeah, you gotta know.
You can't modify it for the test. These are the rules. So if you can't modify it for the test, why is it being modified for actual life? So, but
I know it's going to be modified actual life when someone gets hit by a car.
There's no rules and regulations for kids to ride a bike. You don't get a license.
Nope.
They already tried that. It didn't work.
So, and I, with the case Truth's talking about, I get it. Like pedestrians, yeah, you gotta, and that's the law. And there was even a case a couple years ago where the lady was crossing the street with her kids and got hit by a car and wasn't in the crosswalk, and the police said it was her fault. But the bad thing about that is she was getting off for work, and the bus dropped her off at a place where there wasn't a crosswalk.
Yeah, that's downtown in Boston.
Yeah, so it was crazy, but the truth be told is, you think about it, that situation now is going to make everybody want to go to the crosswalk now to cross the street.
You would think that girl who got hit in Lowell, was it yesterday or the day before?
Mm-hmm.
Crossing the street, she wasn't getting no crosswalk or anything.
No.
She crossed the street on a bend, on a turn like this, and she got hit. And then her friends are out there looking for her hearing aid. I'm like, what? The girl should have took a little bit better. But
Yeah, stop.
A texter says kids on bikes do not kill people like speeding motorists. Another texter says they're riding bicycles, not selling crack. Throw them in jail.
cool.
Them kids, the bad behind kids.
Kids on
riding
bikes,
bicycles,
kids
not
on
selling
bikes.
crack.
And
What?
look at, there's another thing that comes into this, and I think it's something that's kind of not underlined, but assumed, that all the kids on bikes are boys.
Amen. Yo, that's the craziest
This
thing.
is an assumption.
Yo,
yeah.
right? That's the stereotype that,
Yeah.
yep.
They're inner city bad boys, so they're in a gang. And,
That's
so they're
it.
looking for trouble. That's why they're out.
Trying to profile
They're
them at a young age,
They're
yeah.
acting stupid, just like kids do. Kids are stupid.
They got
Sorry,
women.
kid, y'all
They got women prisons too. Throw them girls
Yo,
in jail.
You're stupid. yo, listen though. You
But girls ain't gonna, the adrenaline rush, and I'm gonna talk about that a little later too, just a little bit. The adrenaline rush for girls isn't as
magnified
like it is for guys.
intense for guys. Yeah.
Wow,
So
you guys sound
understand?
sexist
When
right now.
Not
No,
even. No.
I got a reason for saying that, and I'll let them know my reason. But I'm gonna talk
I don't know about
it
all
yet.
that.
With
I think
the-
it might be heightened though.
No, my reason for saying that is now that the girls can join the Boy Scouts.
The girls can join the boys.
Yep, girls can now join
Girls
Boy
can
Scouts.
join-
Say that word.
Yep,
Is that for real?
they can.
For real.
Yep.
Yo, that just.
Because the Girl
It should
Scouts,
be called the Boys and Girl Scouts then. It should be
About
called
to be.
the Boys.
yeah,
about to
the
be.
Girl Scouts isn't challenging enough for the girls.
Yeah.
That'll go because the girls like to go in
Oh,
their single
man.
little groups with their friends.
We're
and
daisies.
talk on phones and
But see, I
stuff
don't
like
like-
We're
that.
daisies.
I don't like
Yeah,
I don't like the
they-
scouts. I don't like none of them scouts because come to find out they some pedophiles. You know they do a
I don't know
lot.
about
They do
all
a lot
that.
of dirt. So, but besides from that,
Not more than a
girls-
church.
Girls, you right. They just as equal. They just as equal as men. They on the battlefield, bruh. Front line.
Who?
With you, true.
Not with me.
Yeah. Why they not on the front line with you?
Because I'm.
You don't
I'm-
trust.
No, I trust them. I think women are way smarter than guys. I think
not
women
saying.
I think they have a lot more business savvy and everything.
Wow.
I really
Not.
do.
Yeah,
I
they
think
do.
the only thing
Smarter,
I think
stronger.
that women
Mentally.
lack and fall behind guys in something is risk taking. I don't think women take risks as easily as guys do. You know,
Well, you got
guys.
some that do. You just,
You
yeah,
got
maybe
some.
a majority. Yeah.
You got some, but the majority of guys, you're on the
Nurturers.
second floor, say, all right, let's jump out
Let's
the
jump
window.
out the window,
Here
yeah.
we go.
Women aren't better or worse at anything. They're just different.
They
Women
are
are
different.
different.
Yeah, we
That's
got,
it.
but there's nothing wrong with those differences.
Right.
And it's that's what it is. I feel like a lot of them are nurturers. They have a lot of wisdom when it comes to not using the brain but thinking with the heart, doing the intuition. When we get the thought and we doing it, we flying, baby, we jumping, we going in the middle of the street,
That's
and
right.
the girls, you're gonna have a girl or two that's gonna follow, but the majority, I would say, is not taking that risk.
So women don't use their brains now.
Oh, they use
No,
their
they use
brain.
their brains.
Look at when I had to go in school and you have to have a study class and everything. I'm going with the girls. The guys adults, they don't know anything.
Yeah.
I'm going over here. The girls, no, this is all organized and needed out there. The guys are still out there. Yeah, did you see me out there at the game?
Yo, for real, yeah, you're not even lying, yo.
Yeah, see
I
that
remember.
move up and up?
I remember science class having to dissect the frog.
Mhm.
Guys over there we were all on the football squad, and we over there. These cats are scared to touch the frog. I'm like, you know what? I got to go. I got to go chill with this, and I got to go
with the girl.
find a different partner who's a female, and we was all up in the frog. And I'm like, okay, and that's just it's different. You understand? I'm not saying that there's no better or worse. I think the ERs and the ESTs in life is really what kind of kills the differences. You got to be proud of the difference and accept the difference, but to be truthful, there's girls out there riding bikes too, playing,
Oh, yeah.
doing that swerve game. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Disturbing the peace.
I think more girls train harder.
Disturbing the peace.
I think more girls train harder and everything, but like I said, I don't think that they're risk taking. That's the only thing. I don't think that they're willing to take that risk as fast as a guy would.
What
They're
about
not jumping out the second floor window like guys will jump out the second floor window.
Yep.
Just so they can laugh at the end.
Yeah.
Because they're just stupid. Guys can only play. Girls don't. Girls play, but they don't play all the time. Guys play all the time. That's all they can do.
what about operating under the influence? Can we charge these kids with operating under the influence?
What?
Listen, some of these
It's not
kids,
about the kids,
they get
though.
high,
It's not
they get
about
on
the
these
kids.
bikes.
True. It's not about the kids though. True.
It is about the kids.
How
It's
is
the
it
kids'
about the
lives.
kids?
Is they gonna end up getting hit and end up getting killed?
Why don't we start a race for them? Do something to have that bike.
Yeah,
like
what I
you
said earlier.
Have that
Yeah.
bike, that swerve
100%.
game productive. Have
Yeah.
them train. Have them, do the different things with bikes. That's all. Like, and the bad thing about it is, it's only in the city, son.
Yeah, that's
So
only
why
in the
don't
city.
they redlining bike? So you're approving the redlining of riding bikes now in the city? Like, no, that don't make no sense.
Yes.
I think this is totally directed at the poor kids.
And Clark should stand
And
up
I
for
think it's
this.
being perpetrated by the rich people who are passing through the city.
Yep. Not even you got a whole school, Clark University. They
Yep.
all ride bikes with helmets. If you see people riding up
Yep.
and around with helmets, they are a Clark student. They should be standing up for this. You understand? One of the largest institutions, all schools now, from WPI, Becker, Clark, they all ride bikes. They ride bikes from Becker all the way to Becker Worcester to Becker Spencer. And they ride bikes.
Right. I don't see
all
these
the
bad
way up.
kids. I don't see these bad kids riding with helmets on. They have no helmets
But what
on.
the hell
They
they
have
got-
bandanas on in their faces. They look like gang members.
I love how you doing it. I love
They
it.
look like gang members.
Yo,
Should put them in jail.
Put them all
Put 'em
in
in
jail.
Right.
jail?
What's
Stone.
under the? We don't know what's under those bandanas
man,
A
listen,
little bit.
man.
or what they're thinking about.
They definitely ain't thinking about living. They're gonna challenge death.
Right?
Right.
You ain't never challenged death? I guess not.
Yeah, he did. This is, come on, AKA True Fit Hippo.
I've always been
Hippo
safe. I've been safe my entire life. I was always mature when it came to riding my bicycle.
Oh,
I would ride my bicycle right in between the little
Lies.
white lines and the bicycle.
Lies.
And if they didn't have a bicycle lane on the street and I rode my bike on the street, I would get off my bike and walk it to the end of the street.
Will,
And that's,
lies,
and that's
Will.
what these kids should do.
Lies.
Throw them in jail. All right.
Oh, man.
yeah.
Me, I would, if I gotta go across town where I lived, I'd get up behind the car and hook on the back door.
Like you never
Oh, they're
did
gonna
that?
start that soon.
You
They're
never
gonna-
did that,
Nope.
though.
Nope.
You never did that.
Nope. They're gonna start that soon
So
though.
that's what I was saying. What is the most daredevilest thing you've done out there then on the bike? I could say I've done swerve game. I popped a wheelie. What I used to do was bunny hop the curve, and whenever there was driveways, you'll find like a little divot, a little ramp. I used to try to jump up people's driveways and catch mad airtime and like kind of like skid on their lawn.
You know what we used to
or
do?
pull some grass up.
We used to
on
find
that.
empty lots, like over by Cambridge Street, and
Yeah.
all my friends from Kilby Street. They would go over there to buy Cambridge Street. You could cut and just it's a walking distance. Take their bikes, and then in those empty lots that had no buildings in it or anything, we would make ramps. We would make ramps and do all our tricks and ride our bikes.
They don't
and
even
go
got
over the
that no
ramps now.
more though. So
They
what
got
are you
empty.
saying?
They got empty lots
So
now.
then you're gonna be talking about let's arrest these kids.
Yes.
I see in Worcester up there. It's in Worcester, Holden Place, coming down. What is it, Salisbury Street or?
Yes, I saw Salisbury Street. Yeah.
They got a bike club that rides down there. They're adults and stuff like that. There's like 20 of them riding a bike, and they're well organized and stuff. But they're adults. Now you got kids out there riding a bike. They're not going to ride like the adults. The
No.
adults out there trying to do this for exercise.
Yeah,
Or
competition.
some are trying to be doing this so that they can go and compete in a race and
Cycling,
do that
yeah.
stuff. Kids don't
Someone
have
has
that.
to look out for the kids because they're too dumb to look out
They
for
are.
themselves.
Wow.
Especially the guys.
They are.
But look out for them.
Yes.
We're talking about arresting them.
Yes, to keep
That's
them
not
from getting
looking
hit
out.
by. I'd rather have my son in jail or being arrested or having to pay a fine in court than being hit by a car and dying.
Well, and then maybe when the kids get older, they get lucky like me. I got a wife that looks out for me because I'm still stupid.
No, for real. And that's one thing I can say.
I'm still stupid. I do what? She don't-
Like
she
you
don't-
like to have too much fun. You like to have that fun too much.
I went mountain biking for the first time. I was trying to catch big air. I see this thing. I was running out
He
of
said I
breath.
was trying to catch big air.
I was running out of breath going downhill because I could see a little smirk. Oh,
See that hill, right? He's trying to.
about this big on my face.
Did you ever ride? Did you ever used to ride a skateboard troop?
Yeah.
Nah, I never did a skateboard.
That's what they're talking about, that manly thing. Because I know Laura was looking at you like, what is wrong with this? This man ain't thinking about the consequence after that. Yeah.
You was ahead of me.
Yeah.
You was ahead of me, you know.
Oh man, see, that's the craziness. So that's what I'm talking about.
Like, yeah, and you want to stifle kids from growing up and having all the fun and being crazy?
And
Yes.
This is Seven Hills. So this is the home of the Seven Hills
Yeah.
show. Come
Whoa,
on now.
man.
For skateboarders and bikers, this is a great place to get some good speed, bro. To
Oh.
get on top of that hill and come down and what's that building on Main Street across from Mechanics Hall? They have that hill, Walnut Street. Like if they was to build a ramp right there in Mechanics Hall, like you'd get so much speed and coming down Walnut that. Come on now.
And what would happen? What happens when they ride down that hill into Main Street and get hit by a car
They
in the
squish.
traffic?
Yo,
They
listen,
make squishy sounds.
hopefully they don't. I pray they don't die. And they just get a broken bone or something.
They make all
And at
these
the end of the
squishy
day,
sounds when you
they're
run
gonna be
over.
moving up. They're gonna be moving up by trooping on Salisbury
Look
Street
at-
because you're gonna sit in the car.
I tell you what, right? I think the kids to me, that's a passive type of thing. Were it for my wife right now, I'd be doing that pack habitation, or not pack habitation, that free running style. I think that is the coolest thing happening. You kids, if you really want to do something at school, do free running. Jump off.
No,
a
I know what
building.
you're talking about. Like where the guys they'll do a flip over a roof to another
Oh,
roof
yeah,
and
yeah,
run up a
yeah,
wall and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
How cool is that?
That's
I
awesome.
love
That's
to do
insane.
that, right? That's.
But I also seen it go
That's what
wrong.
to
I
me,
also seen it go terribly wrong.
Terribly
a lot
wrong.
of times.
This to me is dangerous. That's dangerous and a lot of fun. Riding your bike in the street,
Yeah.
please, that's transportation.
I got hit on the bike before.
A lot of people get hit and killed on
Yep.
bikes in the
I wasn't
street.
killed. I'm
Yep, they
still
do.
there.
But you can try that free running. You want to have some fun? Yeah, jump across a building.
All
that's
it's going
sad,
to take
though.
is one Ernesto to get hit by a car riding on Pleasant Street or or Park Ave or Chandler Street.
But like I
It
said,
needs to happen.
I think it needs more restrictions on people driving cars, people driving on the road. I think there needs to be more restrictions. But I remember the first year out here in 08, I seen a kid get killed right there off of Dorchester, riding his bike up and down the driveway of the park,
Mhm.
and happened to go too deep into the street. And yes, maybe the truck didn't see him, but the truck was flying down the block.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? The pickup truck ran straight through the kid, and the kid ended up dying. And it was like, we need to put more restrictions on these drivers, because I swear, people in their car, they feel like they're on, what is it? What's the plane
they're
that
in
Trump?
their bed.
Yo, what's the plane that the president flies in?
Oh,
Air Force One.
Yo, people feel like they're in Air Force One when they're driving in these Worcester streets, specifically in the city. Like, this is the president coming through, and this is what's going to happen. You're going to have to respect me and my car.
Oh, yeah.
And they road rage and everything. Like, it's
we
crazy.
can do a whole show on cars. I hate when I'm behind someone, and I've seen it maybe one day. I think it happened 4 times in a row. I ain't even gone a mile. Somebody stopped their car.
On their phone.
They stopped their
Yeah,
car.
that's
It's like,
crazy.
What do you mean stopping your car? It's like, yeah, this report or something.
Yeah, right.
That's not. I
see
gotta
it all
call
the
this
time.
person.
At a green light, like, you know what, I'm not going
Yeah,
nowhere.
like-
I see the green light, but no, me and my wife, we see it all the time. My wife be honking her horn, I'm like, baby, they're on the phone. I can see them, they're on their phone. They're not paying attention to nothing right now. They on their phone.
Oh, yeah. Get all animated too. Oh,
Yeah.
I'll slow down.
For real. And that's crazy, because you can't even do that in New York
So
City.
you want to know what you guys have essentially done?
What's that?
You guys essentially done what people in Worcester do all the time.
Oh,
You guys have said, no, this is a bad idea. Oh, no, that's a bad idea. Oh, no, that's a bad idea. That's a bad idea, too. But no solutions.
What are you
Nope,
talking
that
about?
won't work.
I see what solution.
What was the solution?
They need to educate the kids on these are the rules and regulations that, because of the way that the environment's here, and then they need to put something in there so that the kids can feel that adrenaline rush in some place, some other way with their bike.
But you already said they wouldn't go to a park.
No, I'm talking about a race or something like that.
Yep.
You know, where the kids start to learn training and teamwork and things of those nature. There's a whole lot that can come out of this in a positive thing.
Mhm.
I think I may have mentioned it quick, but that's my solution to that. And educate the kids on these are the rules and regulations that you have to adhere by. But if you don't do that, and then you just go out there and try to enforce a law that's in your head, they don't have a voice. So they can't contest it at all. So in doing this other thing, you're giving the kids a voice. And when they get the voice, then they're making the rules and regulations themselves, or at least
Yep.
understanding it.
Yep.
All right.
That's my
Like,
solution.
my
And
solution
then stone them.
is to get
Yes.
no. My solution would be to at least the 18 and over crowd vote. Give the younger kids on the bike a voice. You have a platform, you know, and come up with some ideas on some unique things to do with the bike. Have a bike club that rides through the city.
Yeah.
You know what I
Okay.
mean?
At night.
Tour through the city and then shut streets down and have bike parties and, you know, like Troop said, have a race, you know, have
Yeah.
quarterly races, you know, quarterly freestyle competitions, you know, create a venue for them to ride their bikes.
Yeah,
That's all
yeah.
I'm saying. Don't take the bikes away and say, all right, the swerve game, I get it. I get the swerve game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but at the end of the day, there's other things that they can do that'll give them that same rush.
Okay.
That same rush. And for me, it was going to them dirt road tracks
Yep.
where they had the double decker, the triple decker, they had ramps and all that good stuff. Those were my adrenaline rushes. Riding them tracks and, you know, getting nice air time, doing endos and wheelies and kicks, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely stuff out there for them to do that don't even cost the city no money, because there's a whole bunch of land and abandoned properties out here.
They
All right.
talked about that at the city, didn't they, what to do with the parks and stuff?
Yep.
But
Oh
the
yeah.
parks won't work. But if you make a area where they can have a mountain bike type of racing environment
Mhm.
and stuff like that, they're not gonna go hang out in the park to do that. But they will go for the race,
Yep.
you know?
All right.
And make it affordable to you, bunch of cheap.
Yo, and that's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
Don't put it in Main South and talking about, well, it costs $50
Yeah,
per person to
please.
enter the race.
Right.
You know, like no, like
Yeah.
it's crazy. That's
So before we get out of here, we got about 18 minutes left.
I was talking about gas.
We got to talk about Michael
man.
and Corinne. I know Keith is in mourning right now.
Yeah,
He's
he's
sad.
in mourning.
Yeah.
Him and Turtle Boy are both just sad.
Nah,
What did
nah,
Turtle Boy
nah,
say
nah,
about
nah,
it?
nah,
Is Turtle Boy upset about it, Keith?
I don't know. I don't follow Turtle Boy.
Oh, okay.
But my
I thought
thing is,
you
at the
said
end
my
of the
man
day-
Turtle Boy earlier
Yeah, I
today.
heard that.
No, and
You heard him say it,
said
right?
I said him to use
I
the
heard.
reference.
Oh, okay.
That's
Because
all.
you did say my man Turtle Boy.
Yeah, I heard
Just for the record.
Well, he ain't my man, but hey, you always welcome to come on Voice of the Voiceless now, Turtle Boy. You know, hey,
He come here, there'll be a lynch mob outside waiting for him when he,
Hey, right?
before
I
he
don't know how you're gonna
leaves.
get out, but you can definitely come on in the show.
Yeah, you come on, I'll get you out. Don't worry about it.
And that's what I'm saying. So, and like I said, I chilled with Gaffney before too.
Yep.
I'm not like, it's not about liking and not liking.
So you chilled with Turtle Boy before?
No,
You just said I chilled with Gaffney too, as that means as well.
no, I chilled with Gaffney.
Okay.
Meaning,
All
Yeah,
right.
he doesn't understand.
Okay.
You don't understand.
I understand.
Yes, I chilled with Gaffney, and you know, they never did nothing wrong to me. Had good conversation.
Uh-huh.
You know,
So are you sad?
sad? No, why am I sad?
Because he's gone. He's not running. He will no longer be a part of the city council.
Y'all kept him a focal point. You know,
Uh-huh.
you, Nate, Mike, y'all kept him like it was a us versus them. You know, couldn't respect the differences. All I see is a man who had opinions, just like you. And either you respect them or you don't respect them, or you come together and you try to get a common place. It felt like, you know, more hate than like. I don't dislike nobody.
I'm gonna give you a hug, Keith. You seem down about it. As soon as we started talking about it, you were just laughing about bikes, and now it's like
Because
your
this
whole
is not
demeanor
I don't think
changed.
it's a real media topic. It's like
It's a
talking
real
about Trump.
media topic.
It's
This
like
a
talking
big-
about Trump.
this
This
is
is
You know
the
what I mean?
biggest
Huge
story,
media
the
topic.
biggest story in the city.
Yeah.
Because the city ain't relevant. The news venues in the city, other than Max Live or you like come on now.
And everyone that you mentioned are talking about Michael Gaffney right now.
Michael Gaffney dropping out for 3 weeks before the election. Him and his wife dropping out sends a real powerful message to this city that nobody really cares about the inner city and stuff. Nobody knows why he's dropping out.
Nope.
Haven't got a clue. All
I
kinds
get
of
it
things can speculate on why he's dropping out. Nobody knows why he got a cut on his eye and wearing this beard. and
Yep.
stuff. It's like nobody knows what Gaffney's life is like except Gaffney. He might be having a great job opportunity. He might have got threatened and scared. He might have done something illegal and got busted. He may have done a lot of things because he had done things in the past, like with the editor of Worcester
Walter Bird.
Magazine.
Walter Bird.
Yep, with Walter Bird, with the way he treated that incident, whether it's true or not, but the way he used the girl
As
to
a
do
pawn.
it.
Yep.
As a pawn to just make himself look better. Bit him in the behind, I guess. I don't know.
And
But what my whole thing is, you know, elections should be taken more seriously by the people that's out here in the city, and that's why the city's getting stepped on. They don't have a voice either.
Nope.
They don't have a voice, and they don't know that they don't have a voice because they're listening to echoes. There's echoes that, oh, this will be great, and then they hear an echo that sounds throughout the whole Worcester. Yeah, this will be great, 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 great. And they believe that something's going to be great when they know in fact that it ain't going to be anything for them.
They think their voice, they think their voice reaches Facebook and no other
Yeah.
limits after that.
Yeah,
That's Facebook.
That's it.
So
Yeah.
for me, I'm not mad or sad, and I maybe I will this upcoming election, get involved, but
Almost over.
the politics. I mean, voting. I'll go vote, get involved in it, and I'll go vote. But the politics, I feel is a joke. So who's running and not running, it don't matter because they don't represent they don't represent the area that they come from, and not only they don't represent the area they come from, they talk about what's relevant. I remember having Tracy Novak on the show, and she talked about some of the stuff they talk about in the school committee council. They talk about trending topics. They don't really talk about let's try to help these kids in the school. No, they talk about what's relevant.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's not. I can't say, oh, I'm sad for Worcester or I'm happy for Worcester because it's either a pro or a con.
Hello?
It don't matter. It's not going to change the climate of Worcester
But see,
whether Gaffney's there or not.
That's the problem. There's an opportunity right now that they're going to have to address. Gaffney's not there. Gaffney's not there. There's big hoorahs going on in the street. And
Yeah,
everything.
people are celebrating
And
like
they're
it's 1999.
patting themselves on the back and everything. At the same time, the gentrification is still rolling
going
down
on.
the hill,
Mhm.
putting these people out of their homes. Not just out of their work, out of their homes. They're being displaced by a city that doesn't care anything about them. Yet they're not doing anything about it. And they're gonna reward themselves with all kinds of pats on the back right now for at least until election day,
And that's-
where they should be galvanizing themselves and together and coming together and looking at what's remaining out there to vote and get the best people in there. Not the person who just, well, he looks like me, so he must be the best person. No, that doesn't mean he got any brains.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he has your interest at heart. That all that means is he looks like you. So they need to really get together and start. And it's getting late in the evening now, and look at how am I going to save myself, because that's what's happening. It's becoming a game of survival out there.
And from my point of view, the politics in Worcester is a kind of like insider trader tips
Voice of the voiceless.
as a stockbroker. You know what I mean? You get the insider
Ironic.
information on the gentrification, on who's coming in, what's being bought, what's being sold, who owns what, who and you able to make moves and financially get involved in some of these gentrification or big money moves that Worcester's making. And I felt maybe at the end of the day, you don't need to be in the politics to know what's really going on in Worcester
No,
because it's so obvious.
You're right. You don't
so if
need
you wanted to make some money in politics, you don't really need to go into politics to make money.
You don't need to go into politics to make money. I'm not
All right.
saying
Thank
that
you,
at all. I'm saying that people need to vote. They need to vote not just with their emotional self first. They need to vote, and it looks like, I could be wrong, it looks like if they don't vote with an educated mind and an informed vote, that they're not gonna be around in the next voting thing. Those cities that are being swept over, they're still being swept over because nobody's stopping it.
Nope.
Nobody's paying attention to it.
They
Well-
even, you got people like Constantine Lutz that's even daring people.
Oh,
Vote
yeah.
me out.
Yeah.
Vote somebody else better if you think that it can be better done out there. And look what happens. Nothing
Yeah.
happens.
Well,
So-
we had our favorite caller, Ron, just called. Ron called and said goodbye, good riddance to Gaffney. And he said he was driving on the street in Worcester a couple of days ago, and about 8 kids on bicycles rolled out into the street, and all the cars had to come to a screeching halt. And they sometimes hit the. They're sometimes kicking the people too. They're kicking the cars as they're riding by. But they said goodbye to. Goodbye and good riddance to Michael Gaffney.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Goodbye, good. I don't know Michael Gaffney all that well. I saw some things that he did in his campaign that I thought was very, very unprofessional as a city councilor. And I'm saying unprofessional because he could have used his strength as a gardener to bring jobs for inner city kids throughout the summer or something like that,
That's a good
rather than trying to use it as a prop for his re-election campaign. I thought that was wrong. You know, there were some things out there I thought he was wrong. I really don't know anything that he's really done that's been really good, other than he didn't want to bring in the big building that they're going to put at Kelly Square. But then again, everybody's just looking at the one big building. They put the big building up, the next thing they're going to do is wipe out the whole remaining part of it. That big building, you can't live in it. It's too expensive.
Yep.
You can't live. You can't even clean it and then go eat in the restaurants that they're going to put underneath it.
Yep.
It's too expensive. So they're going to. What happened? To gentrify the whole area around it, and it just mushrooms out, and all the people disappear. And it's like, it's not new. It's been going on throughout the whole country. I think the model they're using is Omaha. I think that's what Worcester has used the model of Omaha to make their city something new.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah, it used to be one of the most decadent towns in the world. Now Omaha, Nebraska is associated with insurance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, big insurance and stuff. It's a big mecca on insurance companies, and there's lots and lots of money in there.
Yep.
Not before.
But
all the people that live in Omaha, I don't know where they went.
one thing's for sure, Gaffney made for some entertaining moments. After his war with Mosaic, knockdown drag-out race with Joe Petty,
Yeah.
going after Sarai Rivera.
Crazy and
Yep.
going after Sarai on her birthday.
Going after Michael Bird. Is it Michael Bird? What is it? Walter Bird.
Bird.
Yep, Walter Bird Jr. Gaffney certainly was entertaining.
He was entertaining.
So,
The Trump of Worcester.
yep.
Pretty much. Yeah, and you know, I don't wish him ill. I hope that, personally, I hope that he's gotten a job opportunity that's going to
Voices,
enlighten
voices.
his life and make him rich, and he'll be rich and famous and all that good stuff like that. I think that'd be a good thing for him. You know, that'd be fine. That's what he wants in the first place. So I think that he should get what he wants. His wife, I don't even know his wife. I don't understand the
Yep.
foolishness behind
All right.
putting in your papers
All right.
to run for city, for school committee first, and then run for school committee and city council.
Thank you, we
and
appreciate
then
it.
want to take on Sarai in her district. It's like, that's not even good sense. You know, that's like going into somebody's backyard in their swimming pool and tell everybody in the house who live there, you can't swim here because I'm going to swim here. And they're like, I don't live here, I don't know anybody here, but I'm going to swim in your pool.
Well, I think at the end of the day, it's pretty much a game. It was a game to him, and they not only was it a game to them, I think it's still pretty much a game now to the existing city council. Like they're not,
Yeah.
it's nothing serious. Like it's not
Pretty
serious to hold that title as city council. You know, there's nothing behind, no power behind nothing. The person who has the power is the manager. Augustus.
Yeah.
That's it.
And he still runs with his group.
Yeah, and he does what he do, and that's it. You know, like the rest of the council and the mayor, they're just there. They're not really, you know, they yay and nay things, but at the end of the day, it's the manager who gets things going.
Yeah,
So-
very uninformed people just want to talk about, but not uninformed really. I shouldn't say that. You know, I guess they had a meeting and talk about they want to improve the sidewalks and all this.
Yep.
That's all for gentrification. That's all because once they build up the city, so it's a pedestrian city. People ain't gonna go walk around in filth. They want to walk around on clean, evenly tilled sidewalks and stuff, so they can get to the eateries, they can get to the movie theater, they can get to the entertainment centers, they can get to the parks in the back, so they can sit out there and feel safe and have their lunch or dinner or whatever they want to be. And they need clean and sidewalks to do this, you know?
Mhm.
Should they first put their energies and effort towards how we gonna really help the voters of this city? I think that should have been primary on the agenda before. Yeah, how do I help the voters? Oh, well, forget the voters.
Yeah, well,
Thank
yeah.
God.
Forget people who vote in my district.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, that's the existing way of politics right now. Forget the 10,000 people that hasn't voted in this area I'm trying to run for.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna cater to the 100 that vote, and that's politics. You understand? So other than Dante, who knocked on doors, you understand, and got to know the community that he's running for, like it doesn't happen like that. You know, it don't.
Very quiet.
It's very misrepresented, and it's just like I was trying to tell my man Jordan a couple weeks ago. Whoever shows up, that's who they listen to.
Mhm.
And it could be somebody who don't even never come out or know what's going on in the neighborhood or in your community, and saying, "Listen, well, I got Pebbles over here, my little dog, and I would like a place for my dog to walk. So can I get a dog park?" And she get 10 other people with dogs in the neighborhood, and all of a sudden they got a dog park
But see,
in a neighborhood that needs.
that's the point.
Yeah.
They went and got 10 other people after they told the person that they
wanted a dog
Mhm.
park.
and
Yeah.
they get a dog park. So somebody come out there and you tell the city councilor that you want this, and then you don't get nobody to back you up.
Back you up. Yeah.
Right.
You lose your voice. You whispered. You didn't shout. You know,
So I need
but
10 people to come with me so I can become so I can replace Jordan Levy.
There you go.
Replace? How you
Ten.
replace him
10.
where? What do you mean replace him?
10, become the next Jordan Levy.
Become
No, no,
He's
they
better
not.
than Jordan Levy.
Duh.
What does he have? What does he wear? What replace him where though? On his show?
Yeah,
He has his own show. You got
Right.
your own show. Why would you want his show?
because his
He
pace.
wants his
His
blatant.
your show could pay too if you put the work
He
in.
wants his status, pay, and stuff. It ain't about
Without
yours
doing the work.
good. It ain't about it good. He
Mhm.
told you right up front, I want it.
That's right.
See,
Let's
that's
do it.
What someone
different.
else has.
That's the difference that you got in the politics. Well, you could and all this. No, I want it. This is it. How somebody give me 10 people so I can have it.
Yep.
That's what he said. Not you could.
I don't know
And
what
that's
no
the
one
way
else
they
has.
do the politics. Well, we could do this and we could do that.
Yep.
And everybody amens that and whispers instead of saying, I want it. Give me 10 people so I can go get it. We're going to go get my army of 10 and go get it. Then instead, all like I said, we say is, I want it and we could and stuff like that. And you end up by hearing yourself later on with the same story. I want it and I could because you never went and did it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
all right. I get that though, but I don't get what someone else has. Maybe I'd ask them how they got what they did, how they got what they got, and try to get my own the same way. But I don't know about one that someone else has. I don't get that. I get it though, but I don't. Nobody. And that's like I said. It's just a crazy generation where we're more selfish. We're more hating ourselves than anything right now. And there's no love. There's no getting together. There's no asking for help. It's more
That's a
of,
huge issue with
I
black
wa-
people.
I want people in general. Don't say
We-
blacks.
Oh no, black people have a
People in
huge
general.
self-hatred problem.
In Worcester,
A huge
they don't-
self.
they're
No,
not- they're not
around
monolithic
around the
No.
country.
Where you at? What around the country?
Yeah, around the country. Fake hair, fake nails, the one blonde wigs, all kinds of. We want to. All black. We all have a self-identity problem. But unfortunately, that's a whole nother subject for another day. We only got 30 seconds left on the show. Anybody want to say their goodbyes, their
I
bill dues?
want to give a shout out to my lovely bride, Laura. I want to give a shout out to my two scientists, Mason and Max. And I want to give a shout out to all those in the military and all the special ops soldiers. I just want to shout out to everybody in the whole world. Go on and have that fun. You know, ride the bike.
Keith?
Give a shout out to my family, my wife, my kids, first and foremost. My higher power for allowing me to be here, allowing us to be here today. You know, all we have is today. Rejoice in it. Let the past be the past, and let's go forward. Press towards the mark.
Just arrest all those kids on those bicycles so the streets could be safe again. I'll holla.